Imagine standing in the path of a colossal anchor chain, plummeting earthward at the speed of several kilometers per hour. Terrifying, isn't it? While the mere thought sends shivers down the spine, the reality is that if this hypothetical scenario were to unfold, it would be less of a brush with danger and more of an introduction to a nautical blender. The impact with sheer force would be enough to transform a human obstacle into an inadvertent seafaring smoothie. But let's be real. While there have been no reported incidents, the anchoring process of colossal vessels like the USS Nimitz-class nuclear aircraft carrier is no small feat. The anchor's weight alone tips the scales at a hefty 60,000 pounds, accompanied by a colossal chain stretching 1,080 feet and weighing approximately 300,000 pounds. With such gigantic operations, even the slightest error could spell disaster, placing both the vessel's functionality and the lives of the crew on board in jeopardy. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as we delve deep to understand the intricate details of how US Navy drops massive aircraft carrier anchor at full speed. Constructed from sturdy metals, an anchor, a fundamental maritime tool, serves dual roles: temporary or permanent. Permanent anchors intrinsic to mooring reside in fixed positions, necessitating specialized services for relocation or upkeep. In contrast, vessels carry one or more temporary anchors, each uniquely designed and weighted. For colossal vessels like aircraft carriers, just like the nuclear-powered USS Nimitz-class carrier, reliance falls upon two or more stockless anchors. This specific anchor type comprises a shank, crown, and flukes, each part interconnected to form a cohesive unit. The shank, the anchor stem, aligns it with the pulling force, while the crown, a pivotal connection resembling a massive bolt, unifies the flukes and stem. This crown unit exhibits a dynamic range, swinging up to 45 degrees on both sides of the shank. The flukes, akin to substantial hooks or extended anchoring arms, assertively grasp the seabed, steadfastly securing the vessel against drift in tumultuous waters or formidable winds. In the context of the colossal USS Nimitz-class carrier, with its awe-inspiring 100,000-ton weight anchoring itself as a monumental operation, this maritime engineering feat, with dimensions stretching 1,092 feet in length and 252 feet in beam, establishes the carrier as an extraordinary testament to naval prowess and technological advancement from the previous versions, the Enterprise and Forrestal-class supercarriers. One noteworthy enhancement lies in the spatial efficiency of the 2 reactors, a departure from the 8 reactors employed by the Enterprise. This economy, coupled with a host of other design advancements, empowers Nimitz-class carriers to house 90% more aviation fuel and 50% more ordnance when measured against the Forrestal class. Driving the formidable power and capability of the Nimitz-class carriers are 2 Westinghouse A4W nuclear reactors, distinguished by a high enriched uranium or HEU content of 93.5%. These reactors in concert activate 4 steam turbines, propelling 4 shafts and generating an impressive 260,000 shaft horsepower or 194 MW. This robust propulsion system not only propels the carriers to speeds exceeding 30 knots, that's 56 kilometers per hour or 35 miles per hour, but also endows them with unparalleled agility and strategic mobility. In terms of human capacity, the Nimitz-class carrier hosts a substantial complement. A ship's company of 3,532 individuals collaborates seamlessly with an air wing comprising 2,480 personnel. Therefore, the collective crew size combining the ship's company and air wing ranges between 5,000 and 5,200 members. Of course, to anchor a maritime behemoth of such magnitude demands an anchoring system that matches its colossal dimensions precisely. So each of the Nimitz-class aircraft carriers are equipped with 2 Navy standard stockless anchors, strategically positioned, one to port and the other to starboard, with dedicated windlass rooms, housing the essential deck machinery responsible for the controlled lowering or raising of the anchor by releasing or winding the anchor chain. These fathomable anchors bear an imposing weight of 60,000 pounds each. Linked to each anchor are 12 shots of chain, collectively measuring an extraordinary 1,080 feet, often referred to as shackles. The chain, a marvel of engineering, comprises links weighing between 350 and 365 pounds each, with additional detachable links that are slightly heavier. Each shot of chain spans 90 feet and houses an astonishing 57 links, together weighing over 20,000 pounds. Aboard the carrier, the 12 shots of chain alongside the colossal anchors contributes to an additional weight exceeding 10 tons. The cumulative weight of the anchor chain and anchor itself surpasses a staggering 360,000 pounds, underscoring the monumental scale and engineering precision integral to the anchoring system of U.S. Navy aircraft carriers. Despite the anchors of Nimitz-class aircraft carriers being the heaviest across the naval fleet, the newest class, represented by the USS Gerald R. Ford, takes the lead with the longest anchor chain. Typically, a commonly used rule to determine the length of chain to be deployed behind the anchor is a 7-to-1 ratio. This implies using a 7-foot chain for every 1 foot of water depth beneath the ship. For instance, if the water depth is 50 feet, deploying 350 feet of chain would be necessary. Hence, the length of chain on a vessel is generally determined based on the typical anchoring conditions in the specific ocean it frequents. The USS Gerald R. Ford, a new class of carrier, is equipped with a chain length of 1,440 feet or 439 meters, and each link weighs 136 pounds. This immersive vessel, spanning 1,092 feet, accommodates a crew of 5,500 and can house over 75 aircraft simultaneously, showcasing a notable advancement from the Nimitz-class carriers. However, the weight remains nearly equivalent to the Nimitz-class, hovering around 100,000 tons. Like other colossal vessels, the USS Gerald R. Ford requires a substantial anchor for stability. Remarkably, the anchors of this new class are significantly lighter at 30,000 pounds or 15 tons, effectively reducing the weight by half. The rationale lies in the fact that this United States aircraft carrier stands as a testament to modern naval engineering marvels. It integrates contemporary materials and innovative designs that augment strength without introducing unwarranted weight. Utilizing advanced alloys facilitates the creation of anchors that are not only lighter but also robust, thereby contributing to an overall more efficient system. Additionally, recent technological strides have empowered the development of anchor chains with enhanced strength-to-weight ratios. This advancement allows for the utilization of longer chains that boast increased durability and reliability, all without significantly amplifying the carrier's total weight. This, in turn, potentially leads to heightened fuel efficiency and diminished operating costs, maintaining a consistent level of functionality with a more streamlined and technologically advanced anchoring system. Nevertheless, beyond the substantial size and weight of the anchor and chains, anchoring a U.S. Navy vessel involves a far more intricate process. To gain insight into this, it's crucial to comprehend the fundamental science behind anchoring systems. Earlier, we discussed how large ships like cargo vessels or aircraft carriers, such as the Nimitz-class or USS Gerald Ford, utilize stockless bower anchors. Their windlass machinery operates by turning a notched ring that engages with the links of the chain, facilitating the lifting of the anchor. This machinery, known as the gypsy head or wildcat, can rotate either vertically or horizontally and serves as the housing for the anchor chain. The hawse pipe, integrated into the ship's deck, functions as a passageway, guiding the chain to the anchor and serves as the anchoring point. Equipped with water spray holes, this pipe also ensures the removal of dirt and mud from the anchor and chain during retrieval. The anchor chain travels through the splurring pipe to the gypsy drum from the chain locker, which is a storage room located beneath the mooring deck where extensive lengths of chain are stored. A dog clutch facilitates the connection or disconnection of the gypsy drum from the motor by the windlass for the purpose of lifting or lowering the anchor. Adding to the ensemble, there's a brake featuring a control wheel to manage the descent of the anchor chain. The chain stopper, also referred to as the cable stopper, secures the anchor chain when the ship is anchored, alleviating stress on the windlass. It also functions to secure the anchor in the house position within the hawse pipe. To guide the chain into the hawse pipe, a small rotating drum, known as the riding powel, is positioned in front of the gypsy wheel. Modern ship windlasses typically utilize direct power from electric motors or pressurized hydraulic oil, thereby incorporating an electric or hydraulic motor. Since all of these components have such an important job, their regular evaluations are imperative to ensure the seamless operation of crucial components, such as the anchor, windlass, chain, and other mechanisms. The anchor drop test is a standard practice aimed at identifying any deficiencies in the anchoring system. This test involves intentionally dropping the anchor into the water at varying depths, simulating real-world anchoring scenarios to thoroughly assess the performance of the entire system. After conducting the anchor drop test multiple times and obtaining positive ratings for the anchoring system's operations, a final check is carried out by the US Navy crew before real-time anchoring. This precaution is crucial because despite being crafted from high-strength steel, anchors and anchor chains undergo significant stress during operations. Factors such as friction during dropping and hoisting coupled with exposure to corrosive salt water can weaken the chain's links, making repairs necessary both while docked and underway. This necessitates a meticulous process known as a manual check, typically conducted in the windlass room or the chain locker while the ship is underway. The entire chain is carefully laid on the dock for a thorough inspection of each link. The objective is to identify any weak points, cracks, or issues that could compromise the anchor's integrity. This comprehensive check includes examining all links and shackles, securing loose pins connecting anchor sections. Any oversight in identifying a weak point could significantly impact the vessel's ability to safely fulfill its mission. Finally, the last and pivotal phase of the process unfolds, the real-time speed anchoring. Generally, there are two primary methods for dropping an anchor to the seabed: the letting go method and the walking back method. When using the letting go method, the US Navy crew opens the windlass brake to allow the anchor to descend under gravity with the chain running at extremely high speed. Care must be taken to consider the drop height, as hasty actions can lead to anchor or windlass damage. Although immediate harm may not be apparent, it could manifest over time. On the flip side, the walking back method involves lowering the anchor under power. Unlike the letting go method, there is no risk of the chain running freely, minimizing the chance of damaging the anchor or windlass. While this method takes longer than the high-speed letting go technique, it is generally recommended for vessels exceeding 100,000 gross tons, such as US Navy aircraft carriers. However, this doesn't rule out the occasional use of the letting go method, as the choice depends on factors like available time and technical considerations. After an extensive analysis of these factors spanning several days and the determination of the preferred anchoring method, the US Navy crew readies for the subsequent crucial steps in the anchoring process. Step 1. Preparation for anchoring. To kickstart the anchoring process, the US Navy crew begins by opening the anchor, lashing and removing the chain stopper from the anchor chain. A sailor takes a sledgehammer to drive out the pins securing the chain, with a second sailor acting as a safety precaution, holding a strap connected to the first sailor's back to prevent any mishap if they become entangled with a rapidly moving chain. Step 2. Anchor deployment and interaction with seabed. Many individuals hold the belief that it's the anchor alone that secures a ship in the sea. However, the actual linchpin is the anchor chain working in tandem with the anchor. During the anchoring process, it's imperative for the ship to align with the head of the current. This strategic positioning allows the chain to disperse, generating a horizontal pull that endows the anchor with the force needed to catch onto the seabed. This in turn compels the anchor to firmly secure itself by driving the flukes downward. When the anchor is released, both the anchor and its chain descend vertically. The anchor's pivotal head enables it to drop horizontally, facilitating the anchor flukes to embed into the seabed. To enhance this process, the engine is operated in a rearward direction, creating a subtle rearward movement that aids in laying the chain smoothly as the anchor's flukes dig deeper into the seabed. Step 3. Forming the catenary. After the anchor settles in the seabed, a distinctive curve in the chain emerges beneath the ocean surface. This curve is referred to as the catenary, encompassing both the length of the chain resting on the seabed and the length hanging in the water from the hawse pipe. The weight of the laid chain plays a pivotal role in generating the holding power necessary to secure the ship. The catenary ratio signifies the proportion of the chain's length on the seabed to that hanging in the water. This ratio is subject to change based on prevailing weather conditions. The captain of the vessel must ascertain this ratio to provide precise instructions on the appropriate amount of chain to be lowered. It's imperative to consider future weather forecasts in this determination. Under normal weather conditions, the catenary ratio is typically 1:5, whereas in heavy weather it escalates to a range between 1:7 and 1:8. The captain of the vessel bears the responsibility of anchoring the ship at the designated anchor station to prevent potential issues. Failure to do so could lead to the anchor breaking the chain or causing damage to the windlass, particularly if it becomes entangled in underwater obstacles like rocks, shipwrecks, or pipelines. In the anchoring process, if the captain opts for the walking back method, there is a constant monitoring of the load on the windlass motor. This is essential because a stuck anchor can lead to an increased load on the motor as the anchor chain is lowered or raised. What do you think happens if an anchor gets stuck in the seabed, drawing a higher load? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating and insightful videos.